What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, as always, John J. II, here with Stainer, Brandon Smith. How we doing today, man?
Hey, doing good, man. Doing good. Another life above ground, breathing that fresh air. Ready to
Yeah,
talk some sports.
it's life is for the living. We all know that, and we gotta focus on waking up every day, getting the job done, making sure we're being a ruthless animal out there as far as getting the job done and making it happen every single day. We got to do it no matter how we feel, no matter how if we wake up on the wrong side of the bed or not. We got to get up and do it every day, every single
Got to
day.
get up, got to grind, baby, every day.
Yes, sir. So we got a really important, really fun-filled show for you guys today, involving a lot of different sports topics surrounding the sports world, breaking news, breaking updates, all over the sports world. And we have a lot to talk about, and we'll have some conversations within those topics, and we're just gonna have fun with it. We're just gonna have a great time today, have some fun, and see where it takes us.
Hump day, baby.
Yeah,
Good day of the week.
exactly. Hump day is one of the best days of the week because that's when a lot of the news breaks come out. That's when a lot of stuff is happening. You do a good recap of what happened already this week and what's going to happen going forward down the line into the rest of the week and the weekend. So yeah, gonna have a lot of fun today, and I'm excited. So let's hop right into it. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors as they beat the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn last night, 117-99. Kevin Durant hitting season lows in points scored at 19 points. Kind of not very impressive for Kevin Durant. I wasn't impressed watching that game last night. Obviously, they're wearing the retro Nets jerseys that they had back when they were in Jersey. So that was cool to see. But when you're wearing some dope unis, you got to be able to find a way to reach that next level, to play better than you usually do. And a lot of the kids nowadays, the youth, and even some of us adults are tending to move towards the vintage paraphernalia in all regards of anything that you can wear, clothing, even backpacks, different types of bags and things like that.
All kinds of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, exactly. So it's something to be seen, and the NBA and a lot of sports teams have taken that mentality and put it into their jerseys and their paraphernalia as well. But I guess, what is your analysis of the Golden State Warriors? Are they the real deal? Still without Klay Thompson? How are we feeling about the Warriors
Man,
right now, Smitty?
I'm be honest with you, surprised. A lot of stuff going on in the NBA right now is a bit surprising, but with the Warriors, I tell you, it's fun to see. A lot of fun to see that team just looking at them work together and just they go out there, they work their asses off, man. And Steph Curry just doing what he's always done. He's been great. He's a legend. The guy is a legend. And the other thing I like to see about this team is the role players are coming through and they're doing what they need to do. And of course Andrew Wiggins, a guy that who played at Minnesota and really wasn't playing at his full potential. The kid has come into his own, and he's a big piece of that team. He's a great player. He's lengthy. He's fast. I mean, he can shoot the ball. He can drive the ball. He plays defense. As a good player there. And then, of course, you got Jordan Poole, the Michigan alumni, who can shoot the heck out of a ball as well. And to see this team do what they're doing without Klay Thompson is just very impressive. They're putting the league on notice. They're putting the league on notice, and we'll see how this team goes on with. I mean, so much of the season's still to be played out, but the beginning of the season they look great. They're playing their butts off, man. I love to see it.
Yeah, me too. They're doing a good job, and they want to come back and they want to win the West. Similar to what Cody just said. Cody commented, Gin Analytics commented, Golden State is my favorite team to win the West, even though I'm a Jazz fan. Jordan Poole, baby, hashtag go blue. Cody, similar to Smitty, is a big time Michigan Wolverines fan. And I give them my condolences every single day about that. But we're not going to get
Yeah,
into that
no
conversation.
need for it.
We'll save that for Friday. But basically, a lot of the accolades that should be given to these players are very deserving. Like you said, Andrew Wiggins putting up 19 points, Steph Curry putting up 37, Draymond Green putting up 11 points, Jordan Poole putting up 17. So there's a lot of team efforts going on. You even see some points coming off the bench here for Golden State. And they very easily found the vulnerabilities within the Brooklyn Nets team, their offense, and it really got to them. So Kevin Durant with 19 points, James Harden with the leading scorer, was the leading scorer at 24 points last night. And then
Yeah,
you got Blake Griffin put up 4 points. So there's some certain things to figure out. You actually have a good amount of points coming off the bench for Brooklyn, and
It's not enough production. Not enough production, man. In the league, in the NBA, man, your starting five has to do a lot of the work. And of course, you're looking at the role players on the bench. But when it gets down to crunch time in the playoffs, your benches aren't that deep. You're going maybe 7 or 8, if that. And I tell you, that Nets team is a joke. I mean, I like Kevin Durant a lot. He was a great player. I mean, he's made his moves. But when he left Golden State, I just was like, man, really? Like, why? You just got done winning a championship. I mean, you would have won another one. I was very surprised moving to see him go to the Nets and see what they got going on there, dealing with Kyrie Irving and then James Harden. I mean, he hasn't won a ring for a reason. The guy's just not he's just not that much of a team player. The guy can go out and score 24 points and they still lose by 18. It's just that Nets team is just a joke, and I'm glad they lost. And one of the funniest parts though is
wow.
the home crowd chanting the Warriors, chanting for the Warriors at the end. I just love to hear that. And another note about the Warriors that makes them what they are, Draymond Green, man, that guy has so much energy, and could you only imagine what he brings in practice? That guy is a warrior, and I think he's one of the reasons why. And of course, with Curry's a hell of a player, and I couldn't imagine what he's like at practice, but guys that keep the team accountable is what helps teams continue to brand towards championship style play. And Draymond Green, he deserves a ton of credit as well. That guy's a warrior. That guy will come in there and he'll pick a fight if he thinks you're not playing hard enough, practicing hard enough. And I love this Warriors team, and I can't wait for Klay to get back. I pray for Klay Thompson. I hope he comes back and he's ready to rock and roll, man. I'm excited for this team.
Yeah, with reports from Steve Kerr and other personnel, they have hinted towards the fact that Klay Thompson is practicing running 5v5s in practice, and touching the hardwood, touching the basketball, getting the ball in his hands, and really getting that muscle memory back, which he needs to get back if he wants to get back on the court with his boys. And they really want to bring the Splash Brothers back. That's something that's been a big narrative going into this season. And you look at the Golden State Warriors, what they've been able to do, 12-2 through 14 games. So they're feeling good. They're feeling really good. They are obviously well and beyond in first place, not too far ahead of Phoenix, with them being at 10-3, but they're on their way. They're on their way. I think that if Klay can find this team in stride and really join back with them once he feels confident in himself and his body, I think that the Golden State Warriors will be on their way to a possible another championship if they really give it their all and they really fight hard through the trenches of the season. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, where they're going to have to fight through and make sure they get the job done when it matters.
Just looking at the Warriors team, and I see that there will be no rush in Klay Thompson coming back. We will see him play at some point in the season. There's no doubt about that. The one question I have about the Warriors is they're big men. They have Kevon Looney. Then you're looking at guys with Kuminga. I think it was said he was he's 6'7", so not a ton of size there. And you got the Belichick, whatever his name, gosh, I don't know how to say that last name, but it's Bjelica. Bjelica, nice. He's 6'9". But what kind of experience these guys got? What kind of play are they going to bring to the table? But if you have it offensively, then if you got shooters on the perimeter, man, we've seen it before with this team. It's just tough to beat.
100%. It's very tough to beat. And we're going to have to focus on the Golden State Warriors and see how they grow and succeed going down the line into the rest of the season. Let's move on now. Let's talk about John Gruden as he sues the NFL along with Roger Goodell for damages for being basically
tries to sue, attempting to sue.
Well, he's attempting to sue, and if he has a case, they're going to be quick to pull the trigger on this one. So
Not
the targets
so
are set.
fast.
The targets are set on Roger Goodell as Gruden claims Goodell sought to destroy his career and reputation through a malicious and orchestrated campaign. That is a quote direct from the attorneys at play.
And that's not.
Go ahead.
That sounds very like a personal statement there. Where's the facts? Where's the facts at? Gruden thinking that Goodell orchestrated this to come after his career is okay. Well, you think that, but I mean, where's the evidence? Okay. We need factual knowledge here, Gruden, for you to be adjudicated from the claims, and he's not going to be adjudicated. He said what he said, and he did what he did, and it's time to play the piper, as they say, however that saying is. pay the piper?
I'm not familiar with that saying, but you do have to have hard evidence. I think this is a last ditch effort for John Gruden to save his face, to save his reputation, not only as a coach, but as a public figure in the eyes of NFL fans everywhere and players as well.
And
So go ahead.
John, the unfortunate thing about this for Gruden is, did he use homophobic slurs? I guess he might have used some. It says here, use racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic language in the emails. Now, what was it exactly? I'm not sure. Now, we don't condone or support any of that stuff. Absolutely not. But some of the stuff that he said, he used words that, in today's age are completely unacceptable. But in the time that he was using these words, it was everyone, turned a blind eye to it. And I think that's the biggest problem a lot of people have with what transpired is that the years that this happened and the time and how long it took, it's some say it's a bit unfortunate for him. But again, let's make note here. We don't support using racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic language to anyone to harm anyone like that. So the situation from Gruden, like I said. Hey, he should have been a better man. Simple as that. Better human being, and what comes around goes around, man. So he lost a coaching career, and a lot of people are not a fan of him anymore. And I like John Gruden. I did really like him a lot, but to hear this stuff and there's people like that in this world that get away with it, and it's a disgrace.
Yeah, John Gruden, with liking him, I could take it or leave it. I think he was a good fit in Las
Good
Vegas
coach.
with the Raiders. I think he was a good fit. He looked good with the visor on, looked good with the headset on. What happened behind closed doors, I don't really know. I wasn't in the locker rooms, but the problem is here, and this kind of goes, hand in hand with the Robert Sarver Phoenix Suns scandal that took place. And there's a lot more. I said this in the gin tonic. There's going to be a lot more cases like this one coming out of the woodwork. You even seen the cancel culture come after Dave Portnoy, and they're coming after everyone that they don't like, anyone that they see portraying a certain narrative. They're going to try to get after him. You got to be really careful what you say and what you do if you're a public figure, especially in this world of social media, of camera phones, and different types of media that are available to most of the general public. They're willing to expose and cancel anybody they can that has what they don't have. So you got to really be careful. And I think what hurts John Gruden more in this case than maybe a Robert Sarver or other individuals that are being targeted is they have a paper trail of exactly what John Gruden said, what language he used in certain emails and different conversations he had with other individuals that are being used against him, and they will be used against him in this case if it does come to that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Regardless of what transpires through the suing, like you said, it's the day and age where this stuff is going to continue to happen. People are going to come after you. People just are, some individuals just don't enjoy to see people succeed. But again, I really don't have a whole lot to say about this, just because like you said, I mean, there's a paper trail, and I mean, he is guilty. He's guilty for being basically a POS. I mean, he made there was a fella that I think it was 2014. It said that he was openly gay coming into the draft, and then Gruden made comment about the St. Louis coach draft him, saying that something like it forced his hand or something like that. But then Gruden was coaching Carl Nassib, who was openly gay in the NFL. So you kind of wonder, like, I wonder how things were between the coach and player at that point, where like Gruden said what he said, but he was coaching a kid like who was also openly gay. So I just think there's really no room in this world for individuals who, behind closed doors are going to talk down about whoever it may be, whatever the situation may be. And honestly, enjoy the bed that Gruden made, man. He made it. He did what he did. Tough.
Yeah, he did what he did. He's got to deal with what he said.
Yep.
The bottom line is when you're a public figure, you got to refrain from using certain language like this, especially when you have a paper trail against you. It will be used against you 10 out of 10 times, especially if any other allegations come up against you. It's just going to snowball. It's going to, basically build a huge pile on top of one another. And it's just going to be a mess for whoever's involved, whoever's the targeted party in that situation. You don't want to be in that situation. for anybody, it's in a public, scenario. If you're a publicly known person, you don't want to be using this type of language. And it really boils down to just be a good person, just be a humanitarian person.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you feel a certain way about a certain group of individuals, keep it to yourself. And it really doesn't have to be shared with anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
And just be
if
a
you
good
want to talk
person.
like that, closed doors, and maybe John thought he was behind closed doors, but unfortunately, in 2011, 2000 to 2018, he didn't realize that evidence was like that was cold cut. It was obtained, and now it's submitted. So
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see and learn how long that was going on before any light was shed on it, though. Like you're looking at John Gruden on the sidelines just a couple weeks ago. And now that all this comes up, it's like, wow, at that point in time, he's already done so much where he's being looked at in such a worse light than he was already being looked at. And basically becomes, this coach that's on the rise with the Raiders, coach for them back in the day. Now he's back at the Las Vegas Raiders, coaching that team.
Allegiant Stadium,
Yeah, and yeah, brand new
new
stadium, feeling
facility.
good, and just becomes a social pariah. He goes from hero to zero in 24 hours. So it's crazy to see that happen, but it's happening more and more. We're going to see a lot more of it going into more sports seasons that we have. Definitely NFL, and we're just going to see a lot more. I don't want to put any bad mojo on any certain league or any team, any franchise, anything like that, any sport, but we're going to see a lot more of this. This isn't the first time we've seen it. And it's definitely not going to be the last time we see it. So a lot more is going to be coming out. The NFL is constantly doing investigations on different teams and different coaching staffs to see what they can find, see what they can overturn. And it's basically a mess. So you want to be able to clean your room when you have to. Cool. Let's move on.
Cool.
Let's talk about Michigan falling to Seton Hall last night at the Chrysler Center, 67-65. Juwan Howard can't be too happy with this loss. What do you see through this Michigan team? Obviously, coming into this game, fourth in the nation. Do they deserve to be at fourth in the nation? Do you think that gassed them up too much? I talk about this when I talk about Michigan State. When you give them too high of a ranking, you gas them up, and it really works to their disadvantage.
I'm happy about this loss.
Really, elaborate.
I am absolutely. Look, it's what the fourth game in, was it? Fourth or fifth game in. Looked like it was a third game in there. Hey, it was they got that brick in their mouth early in the season. They got smashed. They got their teeth kind of kicked in a little bit there. They had a unranked team come into their home court and beat them. Now it was a close game, and Michigan had a lead of 11 at one point. But looking at the stats and whatnot, Seton Hall should have won by more than just 2 points. They shot 10 of 18 at the free throw line, while Michigan shot 10 of 12. So at that rate, Seton Hall should at least maybe cash in on about 3 or 4 more points at the line. Those are free points for players there. But look, games like this happen. That's the thing about college basketball, is that you can take a loss like this and not be worried about what happens. In football, you take a loss like, oh God, now we have to hope everyone else loses because there's only 4 spots. But in college basketball, we got March Madness. So what this Michigan team's going to do is they're going to get to the film, they're going to watch the film, and they're going to get back to practice, and they're going to keep moving on through the season. And quite frankly, I don't think they're going to be too worried about the ranking, because everyone knows that it all comes down to March Madness. That's it. Get the work your way through the season, figure out where you need to tune up a bit, tighten some stuff up. What's going on here? Watching the film, and keep on moving on, man. And we're not worried about it. It's a good Michigan team. Tough loss.
Yeah,
You don't like to lose the game, but it happens.
It's tough loss for Michigan for sure. Juwan Howard does not want to be losing games like this. It's a tough loss.
Hey, Seton Hall's not a bad team. Seton Hall's a good team. They played a good game.
Team. I'm not saying
they played a good game. It was a good game.
Are they in the same arena? I mean, talking literally, yeah, they were. But are they in the same conversation with Michigan? I guess you're basically, by saying they're not a bad team, are you also saying they're in the same conversation as Michigan?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, again, it's early in the season. And with college basketball, there really isn't teams that stand out. Again, when I reference college football, like in Alabama or like a USC or Georgia, teams that just dominate. They just are dominant teams. You know that. You see that. It's proven. In basketball and college basketball, a bit different. Teams can come out there, and they're very athletic kids these days. Take another team. George Mason beat Maryland. That's another upset. Um, it happens. It's college basketball, man. That's why we love it. I don't think this is not a bad loss. This is a good loss in the sense where the team has gotten that loss. They gotten their first loss. They're gonna, again, like I said, watch the film and realize what they've done and what they can work on. Seton Hall came in, played a good game. You look at the stats here. It's just it's a good game. It's a good game by both teams, and really not worried about it, man. We just hope the team stays healthy and improves on what they need to improve on. Absolutely.
After this game, the Seton Hall head coach, Kevin Willard, shrugged his shoulders at the final buzzer, saying he wasn't surprised with the result.
He said that.
He said that, and he was very, unimpressed with the final score. He thought they should have won by more. And the key late fouls for the Michigan Wolverines were to blame, and obviously missing the free throws, missing certain shots of that nature, definitely hurt down the line as far as this game was concerned, going down into the late minutes of this game. And it was just one of those things. And despite shooting 40% from the 3-point line, Michigan fell short, allowing easy buckets in the paint.
So both teams shot
40% from the 3-point line.
No. They 30%. Shot 20%. Seton Hall shot 30%.
I'm looking at the wrong line here. They shot 41% from field goal. For field goals, they shot 41.9% against Seton Hall's 40%. And then from the 3-point line, they shot 20% against Seton Hall's 30%. So there's your little bit of spacing there, missing from 3-point and not converting on those perimeter shots. Definitely hurt the Wolverines going down the stretch. I mean, you add one more 3 to that, that increases the percentage slightly, but it wins the game. So the game is won in the trenches. The game is won by small margins, and that's got to be considered. So you got to be focused on that. What does Michigan have to do to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Just got to play better. Got to shoot the ball better from deep. You're going to take 15 shots. Got to make more than 3. Look, Caleb Houston's a freshman there. Let's see. We got Devontae Jones who transferred. He's a senior. Okay. Probably better bench play as well. We need more production out of our bench players there. Again, it's just early in the season, man. Kids are going to grow and get more experience. Terrence Williams, a sophomore there. Diabete. How do you say his name? Mwasa. He's a freshman, 6'11", man. And then another Buffkin guy. Let's see a freshman. So you got a sophomore and 2 freshmen on the bench that came off the bench. Kids gotta get some experience. Kids gotta get some playing time. Good game here for those guys. Seton Hall's got a couple returning players, and Roden and Kale who play very well. They can shoot the ball very well from deep. So just gotta keep on. And they got this. Oh, this guy. Remember? Yep. Ike Obagu, 7'2" senior, man. That kid, holy cow, that's a lot of mass down below. So Seton Hall is going to be a team to reckon with this year. They fell short last year. Their shooting wasn't as great, but another year of practice, another year of prep. You watch Seton Hall; they're going to be ranked here soon. They'll probably elapse the top. I say you'll see Seton Hall in the top 17 at some point this year. I bet.
Well, so definitely some vulnerabilities on the Michigan side that need to get ironed out going forward down the season, especially once you get into conference play. You got to start worrying about who you got in the game, who you can trust, and who's going to get the job done on the court. So that's definitely going to be a question mark that Juwan Howard is going to have to figure out for his team. And I'm sure they'll figure it out. Like you said, like you alluded to early on, it's still early in the season. There's still a lot of games to take place before we get into the nitty gritty of the season. Long way till March. So it'll be here before you know it, but they got a lot of time to iron out those kinks.
Yep,
it definitely does. We know that just by watching football. I mean, shit, what are we in week 11 of NFL?
Week 11, 8 weeks left. 8 regular season weeks left. I can't believe it. I'm just like, where is it gone?
Where has it gone? We'll talk about that right now. We'll talk about the NFL segment of the show. Want to talk about the 49ers and the Rams game as the Rams fall 31-10 against the San Francisco 49ers, giving the 49ers their first win in over a year at home for them. I guess.
Why is that?
What's that?
How come it's been a year? I know the answer.
Tell me.
Well, you tell me.
You're asking me how come it's been a year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay, well, first
I
off,
look at the 49ers. I mean, I don't have
they're
any
they're
trust in
0-4 to this season at home, but because of COVID last year, they actually were playing at the Cardinals, I believe it was. So they didn't play at their home stadium last year, and I believe it was pretty sure it was because of COVID and
that. Could
um
be. I think that
yep
was the regulations that were going on in California. It didn't allow
mhm,
them to play at home. So
yep
that stat
yep.
has a little bit of fluffing to it.
But still, they're 0-4 coming into this game at home. So
Yeah, I mean, so
even
you
with
gotta
that,
kind of accompany that, those games that they've lost this year at home to the ones they lost last year. Then you got yourself a headline.
mm-hmm.
So regardless of getting too hung up on that, let's talk about the 49ers. Where were they successful and where did the Los Angeles Rams fall short? What was wrong with the Rams? What was wrong with Stafford? Why did they fall short in that game? That should have been an easy win for the Rams.
No, not necessarily. I think what happened Monday night, and let me just remind the viewers that when Seth and I were talking on Sunday, we both picked the Rams here, and Seth also noted he talked about Samuel a little bit, and I almost wish we had a clip of me speaking so arrogantly about that. I talked about how I asked a question, hey, Debo might get the productions, but is he getting in the end zone? And then here comes Debo Samuel getting 2 tugs and 100 and whatever yards reception. So, the 49ers, they quite frankly, they just showed up. They showed up at home. Jimmy G played well. The defense played well. The players made plays. And then on the other side of the ball, unfortunately, Matthew Stafford has had 2 back-to-back weeks where he just hasn't played well. Um, I don't know. I'm not real sure what's going on with that Rams team. And I did make that statement last week that I thought the Rams would win it all. Don't know why I said that, but hey,
You
they
still
still
stand
could.
behind that? You still stand
You
behind
know,
that statement?
and like I said when we were talking about it last Sunday, again there is only 8 weeks left, but it's a National Football League, man. There's a bunch of professionals out there running around, a bunch of big men, strong, fast, athletic guys. That a lot of things could transpire still to come. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win it all. I really don't. You'd think the
A lot of
Rams
question
would.
marks out there. I think the Packers
Yeah,
are looking pretty good though.
yeah.
Looking
But
pretty good.
back to the game, that yeah, Matthew Stafford just not playing well right now, just not seeing what he needs to see, not making the right reads. I think he's just relying on Cooper Kupp a bit too much. Again, the 49ers aren't a bad team. They got a defense. They've got some good players on that team. So tough to see the Rams lose there, but it's not like they lost to Jacksonville or the Jets or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. I'd put the 49ers at the mid-tier level, maybe a little bit
I
below
would
that,
agree.
but
It all depends
they're
on how
right there.
Jimmy
They're
G
right there
plays.
on the mid-tier level. I'll put them at
Yeah.
mid-tier. OBJ gets 2 receptions for a total of 18 yards in his first appearance in a Rams uniform. Were we expecting more out of OBJ, or were we kind of unsurprised with his performance?
Well, so what happened there was, and look, 2 receptions for 18 yards is a 9-yard average. That's not bad. But what happened was the Rams got down and they had to run hurry up offense. They had a lot of stuff going on, making their calls and whatnot. So being that OBJ just started with the Rams, he hasn't had enough time to actually get acquainted with the playbook. He hasn't been there long enough. So that's why OBJ was on the sideline. That's why he wasn't in there. I mean, could he run over to Stafford and be like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" I guess you could, but in the nature when you're down 14 points, you got to put the guy on the sideline and say, hey, look, we got a week of practice. You'll be in there next Sunday. But it's good to see that he at least caught 2 receptions for 18 yards. I think OBJ is going to be a great piece of that. It's so unfortunate Robert Woods went down with an ACL injury on Friday, the same day that OBJ signed. What an ironic coincidence there. Very unfortunate there for Woods. Um, so with that being said, we will have to see what happens.
Yeah,
What
I think OBJ will be getting some touches down the road. I mean, it's still very early. People are up in arms about this. Why is he not performing as to the highest caliber? He hasn't
Wow.
really played well in a lot of years. Let's just be honest there. He didn't really succeed, didn't really find his groove in Cleveland. His obviously his wheelhouse was in New York with the Giants. And it's been a long time since we've seen, gifs or gifs of OBJ doing this. It's been a while. It's been a while. So, or even doing, one-handed crazy grabs in practice, and his teammates are going crazy.
Well,
We haven't seen that OBJ in a long time. So for fans and other people to expect to see that, I think is kind of far fetched. I think it's not realistic looking at it that way. And you
let,
just got to give it some time, let it marinate, let it simmer, and then take it off the grill and
let's not
try a
forget.
piece.
Let's not forget. So OBJ went to the Browns, right? was playing with Baker Mayfield, who a lot of people don't really respect as quarterback, gets injured, off for the with ACL coming back. It's his first year back since that ACL injury, so the guy's still working back. Now he's on the Rams. It's mid-season, over halfway. We should see this is the next 8 weeks is what's really going to prove everything that comes when it comes to the conclusion of Odell Beckham Jr. What is he going to do with this Rams team? Can he get open? Can he make plays like you're saying right now? I wish Robert Woods didn't get hurt so OBJ could play more of a wide receiver 3, but he's going to be wide receiver 2 now. So we got to hope that this Rams offense can figure it out. And you got to ask Matthew Stafford what's going on, guy? What's not lining up right now? Is it it's very interesting. I'm excited to see what happens. I hope OBJ can return to his old self, but we will find out, man. We just got to give that guy an opportunity to show. I mean, so he had Eli Manning. I think he had Daniel Jones for a year or whatever it was. Then he went to Baker Mayfield. Now he has Matthew Stafford. When he got signed by the Rams, I was like, what? I mean, you could have gone to Aaron Rodgers, crying out loud, But hey, again, he made his bed, so we'll see how he sleeps in it.
Yeah, he made his bed. He's gonna have to sleep in it, or else he's gonna have to sleep on the couch. So we'll see what happens.
No option.
No, there's no option. It's either there or the floor. So let's focus on a different aspect of that game that really happens every single week. That kind of, I'm not going to release how I feel about it right now. I want to hear how Smitty feels about this. I want to hear how you feel about this, Smitty. How do you feel about the Manning segment? There's 2 versions of the Monday Night Football game every single week. One show on ESPN is the actual broadcast that everybody gets to see. No, no bullshit. No, there's stuff going on. Just the game on ESPN.
No, that's not true. It's not just the game. It's you got announcers in that game as well, and people
you
talking.
Got announcers in the game, but I mean, that's a basic game. That's something that's very standard as far as any football game broadcast is concerned.
It's not just the game. We're not just watching the game. We got other people talking and we got stuff going on. But go ahead.
All right, focus. Focus for me, okay?
I'll be part of my
on ESPN2, you have the Manning brothers commentating the entire game, whether they're eating a bowl of hot wings, whether they're bullshitting about something totally not game related. The game's going on in the background. It's basically, it's like it's like a podcast type of thing where they have 2 frames on the left side of the screen, Eli and Peyton, and then you got the game going on. I mean, do we need that, or is that something that's necessary, or should we do away with that if we had the power?
So, how I feel about that is, I don't really get to watch a lot of Monday night games. So I'm in bed at 7:30 because I gotta get up and feed the goats and the horses and stuff. But I like it. Quite frankly, I like it. I think those 2 being brothers and whatnot, they're professional athletes. What they bring to the Monday night showing their podcast viewing, whatever it is just they get to call the game. They get to talk about the game. They kind of get to speak of their own, what they're seeing going on out there. And then also the aspect of bringing in guests. I think that's super cool. I mean, you're getting to see them interview basically individuals that you just don't get to see every day. So I like it. Quite frankly, I like it. It's funny. They joke around. They're funny, man. There was a video of Peyton Manning. What was he? He was eating something, man. He was eating something during the break, and he was just scarfing it down. It was not breathing. And they show the video of it. And Eli Manning, the personalities. Eli just looks a little bit more laid back, reserved, and kind of going along. He knows that Peyton. It seems like Peyton's more of the bullshitter. Excuse my language, but I like it. I like to see their personalities. And then for me personally, again, the individuals who run the regular scripted ESPN show viewing, I'm not real big fans of them. Quite frankly, the voices sometimes annoy me. So I guess that's why maybe I like it more. But what was I else going to say there? When it comes to them talking over the game and not really giving the volume out, I think they can maybe do a little less of that. But I think that's just all part of the viewing there, the script, man. They're just very communicative. They're very interactive.
All right, listen. I don't see a place for this. No respect to the Manning brothers. Love them both to death. I think they have their place in media, their place in sports broadcasting. But as far as being 2 side panels while a game is going on live, I like the idea of that. Somebody had to come up with that in a board meeting or something like that. Like, oh, you know what? We should put the Manning brothers in a live booth with the game going on a side screen. The screen's a little bit bigger. Can't really see the whole, resolution of the game. You're not using the full utility of the TV, but you're using a good amount of it. We're gonna throw the Manning brothers on there. Give them a bowl of hot wings. Give them some ranch and let them go to town. Let them figure it out. So someone was thinking about that, but there wasn't a whole lot of thought that went into that. And no, like I said, no disrespect to either of these guys. They're both champions and they're both very, very good professionals in their own right. And they come from a very athletic family. But I don't think. I mean, sometimes I get annoyed by it. I'm like, I just want to watch the game. Tell me what's going on.
You know what's great
There's
about
too much
that,
going
though?
on. It's too much overload. I'm getting sensory overload when I'm watching Peyton Manning eat a hot wing and Eli Manning laughing at it, and I'm watching a football game at the same time. It's just too much.
Well, you know what's great though, John, and I respect your opinion, and I respect that you have feelings about it. But there is another channel you can flip to.
Exactly.
Just do it.
Thank God there is.
You know?
Thank God there is.
And I hope that anyone and everyone that feels that way, you have the luxury of turn the channel. You don't want to watch them? Turn the channel.
I mean, do they not have enough stuff to broadcast? So what if there's another sport going on? They could use ESPN2 for that, right?
I guess you would have to make a stance there, and
I'm making a stance. I'm making a stance right now. And basically, the beautiful thing about this, it's all opinionated. Whatever I say,
absolutely.
no one's gonna give a shit about it. There's probably a lot of people out there that get a kick out of it. A lot of people just
agree with you,
watch Monday Night Football just to watch the Manning brothers eat hot wings, right? I mean, there's an audience out there for it, and I don't
eats pizza and salad, man. I think that's my favorite part.
What, the eats?
No, I'm just playing. I've only watched it a couple times, but I think they're entertaining. And like I said, if I'd do the same thing. If I don't like it, turn the channel.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not entertaining. I'm saying there's a time and a place for it. And people are gonna be like, oh, why do you care about it so much? I care about it because I'm trying to watch a football game. If I got money on that game, I'm trying to watch a football game. And especially if I get pissed off, you think I want to hear a sly remark from Eli Manning after that? No, I don't. The answer is no. So let's just move on before
TVs are getting busted. John Mikowski's watching that.
I've broken multiple TVs. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about something else. Let's move on. Let's talk about a new podcast that just got incepted into the GSN Podcast Network with the GSN Sports Network. The introduction to Double Coverage, an NFL podcast with Seth and Smitty that debuted this past Sunday. Smitty, do you want to talk to this podcast a little bit? Tell me what you guys expect to make out of this podcast. What do you want to make out of it? Where do you see it going? Just give me your analysis of where this podcast is right now and where you want it to be.
Yeah, double coverage with Seth and Smitty. We're just looking forward to talking about NFL. Thursdays and Sunday. You're gonna see us make asses out of ourselves. You're gonna see us make predictions and conclusions that didn't happen or completely the opposite way. But that's the best part of it. We get to go on there. We get to talk about football, which I enjoy immensely. I don't know if you can't tell that yet, but I just love it. Go on there and we get to talk about the games, kind of give our opinions. I think we're also going to try to mix in a little bit of fantasy talk with it as well. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm just excited. Me and Seth, we bounce back ideas and opinions. Seth brings a really good knowledge. He brings really good knowledge of the teams and, of course, of his Philadelphia Eagles team. He loves that team to death. So you'll be seeing us, like I said, Thursdays. We'll be talking about the Thursday night game. And then on Sundays, we're going to talk about the slate of games. And Monday night, we'll be giving out predictions, conclusions, player props, things like that. We're just going to be having a good time. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's really exciting, to see the GSN Podcast Network grow with the GSN Sports Network, see different angles from individuals that we may not have heard of, seeing soul podcasts happen and emerge from individuals that maybe didn't have their own podcast before. It's exciting to see, and it's really cool to see you guys do that, especially with a lot of time left in the NFL season. We talked about it, and it's easy to say, oh, there's not that many games left. Oh, we're at the end of the road. Oh, this team's screwed. They have no percentage chance to get to the playoffs. There's still a lot of games that have to take place before a lot of decisions are made. So I think this podcast really emerged into the forefront at a good time. And like you said, you got the Thursday predictions going into the weekend. You got the Thursday night football games you guys can talk about on the Instagram Live. Make sure to tune in on the Gin Sports Network Instagram for all of that information. And you can watch those guys live. It's later in the day before the game starts, but they go live for a good, 15, 20 minutes, talk about the games. And that video is
The
posted.
game, just
You
one
guys
game,
just talk
just
about the
Thursday
Thursday
night.
game. You don't talk
Just
about the Sunday games.
no. We're keeping those separate entities there. So Thursday is Thursday night games, which is a short little segment, and then Sundays we're diving in deep, probably around 9-ish. We still at probably 9-ish, 9:30-ish. Yeah, maybe not that early because we want to make sure that we're bringing to you guys some good injury updates, and of course to do that we gotta get a little bit closer to game time. So we're still working on some kinks and whatnot, but hey, everything's a growing process, and it's gonna be a ride. Tag along.
Exactly. I'm excited, and we're excited to bring you guys double coverage, an NFL podcast with Seth and Smitty. Really exciting new podcast coming to the Gin Podcast Network. And wherever you find your podcast, all of our podcasts are now featured on Spotify. For those of you guys that use Spotify, and they've always been hosted on Apple Podcasts. And wherever you find your podcast, I know they got Google Podcasts, they got a couple other outlets that our feeds are automatically shared to. So wherever you guys find your podcast, you can find all of our podcasts that we have on there. So look forward to more episodes of this podcast, as well as double coverage coming out on different platforms. So be focused and be active. So good deal. That brings us towards the end of the show today. It brings us towards the end. Do you have any final statements you want to make, Smitty, going into the weekend, into the rest of the week, that you want the people to know?
No. Just look forward to Thursday. That's when we're going to be talking. Like I said, talking about the NFL there. If you guys have something to say, make sure you're commenting, reaching out on the outlets there. Let us know. You got something you want us to talk about, even if it's in the past, present, maybe a future. Bring it out. Let's hear about it. We want to discuss. We want these shows to be more interactive, but we want you guys, even if you can't be here with us live, you come to us and we'll shout you out, man. We'll get you on there. We'll be talking about the stuff you want to hear about. So let us know, man. Let us know.
Definitely, yes. Smitty brings up a good point as far as making these podcasts and these different shows interactive. We want to reach out to our audience. We want to strike a chord with everybody listening and watching. And we want you guys to be a part of this podcast. Even if it's not live, reach out to us. We'll feature you guys, and hopefully you can tune in live. Our schedule is starting to get finalized as far as when these podcasts will be taking place throughout the week, and different things are getting structured in a certain way to make them more definite going down the road and down the stretch. So just get involved. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram down there at the bottom of the screen, instagram.com/Gin Sports Network. And you can find all the socials on our website, ginpros.org. As well as our link tree, which is also at the bottom of the screen right now. And just stay tuned to that. There's a lot of links that are being updated on there, and you can reach out to any of us through any of those channels to get a hold of us and get in touch, because we want you guys to get in touch, get involved, and share the stream with everybody that needs to see it and hear from it. So good deal, guys. Well, thank you guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this edition of the Gin Sports Network podcast. Look forward to coming at you every single Wednesday with the Gin Sports Network podcast. Really exciting stuff from Smitty and I. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning into this edition of the Gin Sports Network podcast, guys. I'm your host, as always, John J. II. Have a great night.